Mystical experience at Grateful Dead show. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by Frankenstein 5693, where he took 600 micrograms of LSD. And here's the full report details. Okay, so here's a pretty OG Astro report, if I do say so myself. Frankenstein sent this in to me, but he also posted it on Reddit. I believe he may have touched it up a bit, and he did give an exclusive intro and info. It took place at a Grateful Dead concert, which this can be a perfect vibe for a psychedelic trip. Go check out some of their music if you haven't heard it. But I'll let this report speak for itself. I'm sure you'll enjoy this, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. Hi there, hope you enjoyed this story. It took place at a Grateful Dead show in 2018. Much love. A little background on myself. I've been using psychedelics for 11 years now and have been a habitual cannabis user for 13. The only reason I say this is because I feel it's important to give a history of my substance use. My first psychedelic experience was at the age of 14, with a dose of 2.5 grams of psilocybin. The reason I came into the use of psychedelics was the interest I had gained from my older brother and his friends' stories that they told about their experience. They were very minor psychedelic users with only a few trips under their belts, so they only described it as intense and you laughed a shit ton. So my friends and I did not come into the use of psychedelics with a spiritual intent. We built a relationship with the psychedelics that came about naturally. You could say we fell into it. I feel like this has had a large influence on my natural journey towards truth, because I was not bought and sold on the spiritual aspects of psychedelics. There was a moment where I kept having the calling to go back, because I would gain so much information on my personal development. I ended up slowing my use down once I went to college to play baseball, because I linked my everyday issues to my psychedelic experiences. I felt as if I had learned all that I could have, and they stopped offering me what I desired. I have a strong belief that there is an other out there that knows you better than you can ever know yourself. This other gives access to only what you can handle during that time. For example, we wouldn't try and explain physics to a child because it would be skipping the steps that lead to understanding a subject like physics. This is why the psychedelics were now speaking to me in the way they used to. It was because of my current perspective of the world at that given time. We cannot build our truths on sand. They must be built on a solid foundation. This solid foundation takes time and hard work. I feel as if my whole life and every experience was leading me up to this experience. It was truly beyond words, and has provided me with a taste and a connection with the ever-changing harmony of this universe. I hope you enjoy the story. Deer Creek, June 6, 2018. Dead & Company show. As the weeks led up to this concert, I had just come off a wonderful weekend at the Deer Star Jubilee in Legend Valley, Ohio. This weekend reminded me of the true power when I open up to the love of others and let my inspiration flow. These next 2 weeks, this flow trickled into my everyday, but life became unclear as the days passed by. Looking forward to my next show at Deer Creek, in which I will be reuniting with my two best friends, Daniel and Isaiah from my childhood, who happen to be brothers. We decided to go as a group to take sacrament at the show together. This sacrament being fresh white fluff liquid from the descendants of the BEL. It was renowned Hakuri Extol, which is renowned crystal in the community, GS/CS, testing at 99.9% purity. Knowing the power of this substance compared to the lesser quality of Lucy that my friends were acquainted with in high school, I was very hesitant leading up to the weeks, not only for my experience, but my friends as well. Day of the show. My friends and I all wake up at the Sleepy Bear campground from the night before playing guitar, getting comfortable with our neighbors, and catching up with endless laughs. As we wake up and smoke our morning joints, we continue as the night before. Throughout the day I'm dreading the trip, and was just really trying to find any way not to take the sacrament. I tried convincing myself 1,000 different ways not to take it, but I knew that my friends needed to experience this pure sacrament along with the magic this music can provide. As the concert approaches, my knees begin to knock harder and harder, with anticipation of the unknown. As we walk through Shakedown, my friends are enamored with the scene. Quickly we pass through Shakedown and we are off to the show. Gates open. We flood into our seats on the lawn and prepare our space. At this point, I'm still trying to find ways not to take it. I would make comments like, hey, once we take it, we're in it. And other ones like, hey, are you guys sure you want to take this stuff? Our plan is to take the cubes 15 minutes before the band got on stage. This would allow the come up to happen when the music was playing. 7:15. Cheers. We all say a prayer, look at each other in the eyes, and down the hatch they went. My friends dosed around 150 micrograms. I dosed what I believe to be around 600 micrograms. I mistakenly grabbed a dose that I put with the 150 microgram doses. I laid these doses 1 year before the concert, being the reason I mixed them up. I was soon to find this out very quickly. 15 minutes, the band is on. I and my friends look at each other, hug with excitement, and fasten our seatbelts. The first song comes on with a firing other one, starting me through my ego-shattering come-up. I almost can't take the music, it's so powerful. There was a fine balance. If I listened to too much, it would throw me through and through, not only psychedelic fields of vision, but every sound felt as if it was tearing parts of me away. During the come-up, I kept telling myself, yeah, I'm feeling good now, the come-up is over, and just overall trying to convince myself the peak has reached its peak. As I was saying this, my field of vision was deteriorating. My legs were beginning to turn into water, metaphorically speaking. As I looked up in the sky, just above the pavilion that the pit and stage are under, I saw 8 or 9 distinct entities line up right along the top of the pavilion. They were made of gray-like substance and only had heads. They were showing themselves, sinking back into themselves, and then popping out again, all while having a jester-like smile that looked exactly like the Guy Fawkes mask from Anonymous. So that really freaked me out, and never have seen distinct entities as such that did not leave after I looked away. They were also making the craziest geometric forever changing objects. Objects that I have seen in deep visions, but it was never being projected by entities like this. Right after this, the first set ended. Shoo. I wiped my head thinking of what was just even played. The whole first set sounded as if it was one song. Believing the come-up was over, I began to sit down when a fractal begins to take over my field of vision, leaving behind complete metallic darkness, I would like to call it, with every single shape having the brightest light within it that seemed to be pulling my body into the light. At this point, I had lost all hearing, and I thought, really did it this time. The more I fought this vision, the more it became more intense, until I felt like I had smoked DMT. Finally, I was released, and I was released from this vision. It ended when everything was just about to turn to black, and when I was in that space, there was only those lights I described, and one light in the center that was illuminating the most beautiful thing ever. It had taste, wind, and everything imaginable inside. When I was released, I felt as if I went through a death and rebirth experience that truly set me up for one of my first true mystical experiences. It was the first time I saw the true power and potential each and every person has in every second of the day. The power to really use your power to spread the true love that exists within this earth. This was the first time I truly saw the pure crystal divine love of God. The second set comes. I feel like I am swimming in the ocean, and the vision I have become comfortable with, and was then able to see the interconnected web that was connecting all of us in some way. In this moment, I knew that's what it was, and I had no doubt about it. How cheesy it sounds. There's a strange feeling, as if anything and everything is connected through a certain way. This connection is through love, and I'm reminded once again, in completely different ways over and over again, that good love is the only power. Dancing through the crowd, I came into a hug in which I don't even know how I started to hug the guy, but he hugged for a good minute, and it was an indescribable feeling that we both shared. During the hug, I had a vision that is similar to an Alex Gray drawing, but we were both molecules swirling around a vortex, and every time the molecules would pass each other, it would shoot out a spark of jewels. Simultaneously, as we hugged and started synchronizing our breaths, a feeling inside me grew, and the molecules began to gain speed until they reached the top of this vortex. At this moment, I felt an explosion inside my chest, and I felt like our chests were connecting together. And he then, right at that moment, looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "Did you feel that?" I was like, holy shit, did I felt that? LOL. But just that power of a hug, we never know how deeply it can affect us in our everyday lives. That's how powerful we are. Every look, smile, and thought is more powerful than we can ever imagine. And there's hope in that. This vision replicated the form of a double helix molecule. The message, symbolism, and beauty of the vision were screaming love. Love is the base of all creation. It's in our DNA. We must take back our true nature, because I feel as if we have been greatly severed from the spirit. Throughout the whole night, I could see the true magic that lies within every single moment of time. We had the capability to see through a perspective that's so pure, that sees the moment without having the persona, our ego of the person adjusting it in any way. There's something much deeper within us that's guiding us, or trying to. It's using us as a vessel to create the destiny of this world. We are a catalyst for nature that will either save or destroy this beautiful reality that we live in. As the concert came to an end, we made our way back to the Sleepy Bear. For those who were there, they will remember the wicked lightning storm following the concert. Drying off in the car, me and my friends had some of the most truthful conversations ever, leading us into rabbit holes only to come to simple answers that good love is the only answer. This music has touched me in so many ways that it's indescribable, but it has me focus on more of the people around me and what we can do for each other. After all, we're all indeed special, but not at all different. We all have an empty cup that only love can fill. I hope this story pervades the emotion that I wish to provide. Much love.